The Jeff Show is brought to you by Rolling Rock. Also, it's brought to you by Winter Hook. It's also brought to you by Febreze. And now, the one, the only,
Jazzy Jazz. What's going on, everybody? Try and turn some of this music down a little bit. There we go. How's everybody out there doing? This is another version of Jazzy Jeff's Secret Stash. Today we have a little bit of continuation of some Jason stuff that I needed to get around to doing. I actually had a couple more things. Obviously, you're never quite done when it comes to Friday the 13th. Around the late 80s, there had been some novels that came out, and let's see if I can figure out what this is. So this is part 1, and this is part 4. There's those novels. They're up close, far away. These novels were made by Eric Morse, and they were just didn't really follow the movies directly, but they followed their own storylines involving Jason, Jason's mask, Jason's machete, the soul of Jason, various things like that. So, oh, look at that! Found my old address written down. Kind of odd. Okay. What else is up? Oh! Of course, there's the Crystal Lake Memories, Friday the 13th, the complete history of it. This book is just chock full of tons of cool knowledge, tons of cool stuff. There's just so much stuff going on with this novel. Actually gonna flip these bad boys up here now. It's getting a little hot. I mean, there's a lot to say about this book, but I'd like to do a more thorough review later on. But I mean, since I was on the topic of cool Jason memorabilia, there you go. There's the back of it. Cool pictures of Jason. And I'll definitely get around to showing you various stuff in the book. But it's definitely worth it to look through it, in person. A quick side cool freebie. Obviously, in the past, I've talked about different types of movies, as far as like horror movies, comedy movies, action movies, and then there was that list of movies that were obviously banned for a while in different states or different cities. Sometimes whole countries ban them. And one of the most infamous movies, of course, is Zombie 2. But most of you have watched this with me. I've forced you to watch it. I've told you about it. So obviously you wonder, they are going to eat you. Probably wonder, why is he bringing up Zombie 2 for the millionth time? Well, the fact that it's an amazing movie. But I'm just showing you this because I wanted to get you in the mood for banned movies. As far as banned movies go, obviously Zombie 2 is one of the more popular ones. Well, the thing about Zombie 2 is that is obviously a DVD 25th anniversary collector's edition with a signed poster from the director. But the thing that separates that movie from the original ones out there was obviously the fact that it's not an original, and the fact that when it was banned, it was probably a lot harder to get a hold of, especially on VHS tape, which was probably the normal format it was on. So if you're lucky enough to have the tape version of banned movies, that to me is really cool, because nowadays, in today's age, most of the movies that got banned they're now starting to reverse it, or they're taking it off of, they're taking it off the ban list, or different companies are finding ways to unban it or sell it in countries anyway illegally. So it kind of takes away from the, coolness or authenticity of having it. But in my hands, right here, I hold an original 1984 version of a 1963 movie. Obviously, 1983 is not that old, but it's definitely older, and it's the oldest. I think this might be the oldest movie I own, as far as it's the oldest movie from an era, um, being 1983. Like, not many people out there have a 1983 version of a movie that still works and is in like mint condition. This is the Herschel Gordon Lewis classic, Blood Feast. There it is. This is one of the original gore films, original video nasties, and it's definitely really cool. This was made by Comet. This is the uncut version, and this was starring Playboy playmate Connie Mason. At the time, she had been a famous 1965 Playboy. 1963. I'm sorry. The blood-churning gore effects in Blood Feast are some of the most catastrophic acts of horror on film. So outrageous and so mercenary that most consider this film in a strange satirical way to be quite funny. It was meant to be more along the humorous comedy side, but some people out there watched it and felt otherwise about it. But since its premiere in 1963, this film has established an incredible cult following, and today still plays theatrically across the country. Here's the box. It's got some really cool looking stuff on there. It's definitely really neat looking. And we're going to go ahead and pop this baby open. Not that I would know this, and not that I own any, but it was just research that I did. Not many movies came in a box like this. In the 80s, they might have, but mostly porno movies would come in a giant box like this, which is kind of funny, or special edition movies. Now, underneath it is this giant box-looking thing. This looks more like a Disney movie box, perhaps. It's a little bit too big to be one, but it's that same idea. It's almost a little bit obsessive. It's an obsessive amount of plastic. Inside is this really cool FBI warning, Comet films, and it's got all the little FBI warnings and stuff on there. It's pretty neat. Not many movies would come with an actual thing like that. And then here's the actual movie itself. But because I had purchased this from a movie store that was closing, it still has the horror sticker on there along with the Be Kind, Rewind. It wasn't until later on in the 90s they actually put the word Please Be Kind. I guess too many people looked at it and felt that it was rude. You can't just tell somebody to be kind. You have to make sure you tell them to please be kind. But, so there you go. So this is the 1983 version of the 1963 classic. So I just thought that was pretty neat to throw that in there. And I hope you guys and gals all enjoyed that. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and slide that up in there. And close this up. And I'm done with that. So that is the rest of the Friday the 13th stuff, and that is the other few random things I was going to show you. And up next, obviously, there is a little guy who is just dying to be reviewed. So I'm going to go ahead and do him now real quick. This is, of course, the same version of Jason, but this is the Freddy the Krueger version. This is also, I believe, it was made in 2002. a little bit nicer. As you can tell, New Line Cinema cares more about Freddy Krueger than they do Jason. The clothes are a lot better. He's looking a lot cleaner. I took care of him a little bit more than I did Jason. Um, I would like to go back and get another Jason if possible. But definitely, I mean, he's really neat looking. You know, he's got an awesome plastic claw. You can see his blades are a little smaller than they are in the movie. A little upset about that. This isn't the best version of the dolls, but it's a pretty damn good one. They're dang. Although his feet are soft, more cushiony. Jason's were a little bit more sturdier, I felt. But that is the Freddy Krueger doll, which is pretty neat. If you don't know a lot about Freddy Krueger, I insist that you go check out those films because they're pretty awesome. Over here is the original Nightmare on Elm Street box cover. Nancy laying in bed. Pretty cool. Freddy Krueger trying to get her from her dreams. And the tagline for the movie was, if Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. Inside this really cool looking box, you wonder what is in here. And what is in here are Nightmare on Elm Street shot glasses. It's pretty awesome. Different stuff going on in there. They're both the same, so I'm just going to leave the other one in the box. I've actually never used these because obviously they're collectors. But maybe at some point in my life I will have a reason to celebrate a really important moment, and that's why I have these puppies saved for them. But for right now, they're just kind of chilling out, doing their thing in the box. Not really causing any trouble. And sorry for a lot of people if I seem a little tired now. I didn't realize it actually got so late, but kind of wanted to do a few more reviews before I hit the sack tonight. Up next is the official Freddy Krueger action figure. Now this one is one of the earlier ones. This one was made in 1995. Looks like this was either 94, but it was around 94, 95. This was one of the earliest Movie Maniac collections. On the back here, you can see there's like Jason, Creature from the Species movies, Leatherface. This was the first time that Movie Maniacs and McFarlane tag team together to come up with actual action figures and toys. So they're really cool. There's a little Freddy. These ones didn't have as much stuff as the other Friday the 13th toys. This one, obviously, you can tell it's an old-looking box. This was back when they actually did care a little bit more about the products before mainstream kind of hit everything in about the year 2000. So that pretty much will conclude most of the major stuff. You guys saw a lot of things today. I presented a lot of stuff. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed these videos. And I look forward to making a lot more. So have yourselves a great night. Thanks for watching. And if you didn't know about any of this stuff, well,